Every change professional that I talk to is circling the same quiet question. Is AI coming for my job? And the honest answer most people are giving, don't worry, the human side will always matter. It's reassuring and it's wrong. Not wrong because AI replaces you, wrong because it lets you off the hook for the thing that's actually happening. The change professional is not disappearing, the role is, and these are completely different problems. Here's the uncomfortable part. For 30 years, the change professional has been defined by the work they personally do. You run the analysis, you write the plan, you build the stakeholder map, the impact assessment, the comms, the training. You hold the program together by doing more of it than anybody else. Call it the doer's trap. Your value was measured by how much of the change you personally carried. And the industry has quoted the same grim number for years, that roughly 70% of change programs fail to deliver what they set out to. We've thrown more methodology, more frameworks, more certified practitioners at that number, but it hasn't moved. It hasn't moved because the bottleneck was never the framework. It was the model. One person buried in the doing and the analysis in a world that now changes faster than any one person can hold. AI doesn't rescue that model, it exposes it. So here's the reframe. When AI can run the analysis, draft the comms, surface the resistance, and sense in real time across the whole organization what's landing and what isn't, the parts of your job that were about producing the analysis and the artifacts stop being where your value lives. Now that sounds like a threat. It's the opposite, because the analysis was never the point. The analysis was the tax that you paid to get to the strategy, and for the first time, that tax is close to zero. You're not losing the work, you're losing the part of the work that kept you from the real work. The role isn't shrinking, it's moving up, from the person doing the analysis and the doing to the person who owns the change strategy and drives its execution. You're not architecting a platform, you're architecting the change, with more breadth and depth of real-time intelligence underneath you than any change professional has ever had. From doer to strategist, that is the whole shift. So the role inverts, and it inverts in 3 moves. First, from running the analysis to owning the strategy. In the old model, you spent most of your time generating the picture, the assessments, the readiness reads, the stakeholder analysis, and had whatever was left to act on it. Now the picture builds itself. Continuous, organization-wide sense-making is the input that AI gives you, not the job you grind out. So the job moves up. You're no longer the analyst, you're the strategist, deciding what the change actually needs to achieve, where to push, where to wait, and judging whether the plan is right for this organization, these leaders, this moment. The substrate senses, you set the strategy and drive it. Second, from pushing change at people to enabling the functions that carry it. The old model leaned on one idea of enablement, give the line managers a half-day workshop and hope. The real shift is wider than managers. It's the functions that change actually runs through. Your business analysts, your internal communications team, your training and education teams, your internal influencers, the people with the relationships and the reach. When each of these functions has real-time change intelligence built into the way they already work, they don't wait for the change team to hand them a plan. They absorb the change and integrate it into what they're already doing, efficiently, in their own voice, at their own coalface. You stop pushing change outward from the center, you make the whole organization capable of carrying it. Third, from the bottleneck in the middle to seamless integration. This is the part that changes your week. In the old model, you were the hub. Everything routed through you, shuttling between the BA and the project manager and the internal comms team, translating, chasing, stitching it all back together. You were the integration layer, done by hand. You are not that anymore. With the intelligence shared and always on, the change work integrates directly into those functions, and you integrate with them, powerfully, seamlessly. Not as the person every thread has to pass through, but as the strategist working alongside capabilities that can now move at the same speed that you do. Not bigger change teams, change woven into the fabric of the business. So here's where I want to land it. The change professionals who struggle over the next few years will not be the ones who refuse to use AI. They'll be the ones who used it to do the old job slightly faster, quicker assessments, better decks, and never noticed the job itself had moved up the value chain without them. The ones who pull ahead will let go of the analysis and the doing. They'll stop measuring their value by how much they personally carry and start measuring it by the quality of the strategy they set and how well the business executes it without them stuck in the middle of every task. That's a harder identity to give up than a tool set. So the real question isn't whether AI is coming for your job, it's whether you're ready to step into the job it's actually clearing space for, the strategic one. So at Mingo, this is the shift that we're building right now. And there's two sides to it. The first is the outcome. We move change professionals out of the analysis and the doing into owning the strategy and driving its execution. But it doesn't stop with them. We're enabling a much wider change capability across the whole organization. The business analysts, the project managers, the comms and training functions, the internal influencers, the leaders, all of them able to carry change inside the work they already do. The change professional stops being the bottleneck everything routes through. The whole organization gets better at change. A transformed organization, a transformed role, that's the outcome. The second side is the enabler. We are also building the thing that makes it possible, the underlying AI substrate that senses change in real time, carries the analysis, and puts that intelligence into the hands of every human function. That's co-intelligence, agentic AI, human transformation. The agentic AI is the substrate. The human transformation is the point. The technology does the sensing and the carrying. The strategy stays yours. If you want to see what that looks like in practice, head to www.mymingo.co and reach out. And do tell us in the comments how much of your week is still spent doing and analysing the change versus setting the strategy and driving it.